Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Off the Cuff here at City Hall. I wanted to talk about a bunch of things that have happened since the last time we spoke in the last month. It has always been a very busy month here. Probably most importantly, we passed the 2021 city budget. Last month, early in the month, I proposed my fifth city budget as mayor, and it was the third consecutive city budget where we held the line or lowered taxes. So back in 2019, we actually lowered taxes about 2.5%. In 2020, we held the line, and again in 2021, we're holding the line. And we're holding the line on taxes with no increase in taxes or in any fees at City Hall, despite having to overcome over $500,000 in contractual raises. So that was about $500,000 we were short before I even got to open up and get to work on the budget. But I'm proud that we overcame that deficit and, at least for now, weathered the COVID-19 economic storm. Luckily, our sales tax has held strong throughout the pandemic so far, so we need to continue doing that by shopping local and supporting our small businesses. But once I proposed the budget to the Common Council, they only made one very minor adjustment. The council wanted to fund the softball field up at Legends Field, so they made a $10,000 allocation to be allocated to the Legends Field for a purpose that's yet to be determined, but that was their one and only edit, and it was offset by an amendment that lowered the personnel fringe account just a bit because of our early retirement incentive we offered earlier this year. So it was a neutral budget, not affecting the tax rate, obviously. So again, third budget in a row, no tax increase, no use of the general reserve fund, which I'm very proud of. Historically, here in the city and even other municipalities around the country, politicians say that they're holding the line on the budget and not raising taxes, but at the same time, they're actually dipping into the city's reserve fund, or what they call the rainy day fund, and using those funds to offset their spending in the budget. We're not doing that here, so this budget's totally natural, and we don't use any of the reserve fund to offset costs. In addition to passing the budget, I announced earlier this month we would be doing an interactive mural down at our Water Street Square pocket park downtown. One of the buildings that neighbors the Water Street Square actually used to be a music store back in the early 1900s, and in fact, if you look at the building today, you can see that there's actually a pulley still on the roof of the building that they use to lift up pianos and drop them into the building for the music store. So we're doing a mural. The mural's theme will be kind of a 1920s music and dancing theme to coincide with the activities we normally have at the Water Street Square pocket park, where we have bands and people dance and a lot of entertainment activity. So this mural will complement that, and it'll also incorporate some of the neighboring buildings' history by having some people pull on a pulley, have the piano lift up, and some people helping out. So I think that'll be fun. The reason we're doing this is because if you look at other municipalities, building murals, as simple as they may sound, are often an attraction in a downtown, particularly if they're interactive. So if you as a person can blend in and be part of the mural, a lot of people gravitate towards that. It's a popular selfie spot. So as we improve the appearance and the feel of our downtown, we thought that was appropriate. We're hiring a building artist out of Syracuse. In fact, if you drive around Syracuse, you'll see he's done a lot of building murals in Syracuse. If you see a building mural, it's most likely his. He also, if you've been to the Turning Stone Casino, did a lot of the work in the new food court where they have the murals on the walls there. So it's the same artist. There's a rendering of the mural on my Facebook page, and also on my Facebook page you can get a link to his website where he'll follow along with updates as he goes through the process. So look forward to that being completed in late October. We also made a big announcement that went over really well with the public, and that is some big changes coming to the Oswego Movie Theater. We took $80,000 of our $10 million downtown revitalization grant and allocated it to the Oswego Movie Theater. It's a locally owned movie theater. The owner lives in Syracuse and owns 8 movie theaters throughout upstate New York. And our $80,000 will involve some investment from the theater owner, and we'll actually relight the marquee, which is something a lot of people, since I've been mayor, have asked me about, is how can we get that marquee lit up, and it'll say Oswego in lights, and all the lights on the marquee will be lit up, which I think will look really, really sharp and bring back some of the old time Oswego feel to our downtown. A new HVAC system is going in that'll do a better job purifying the air. It actually is state-of-the-art HVAC system that uses UV light to kill any germs in the air. That's really a change that the theater owner is making in response to COVID-19. So when theaters can reopen, they can reopen safely. And then some other changes like some fire doors being replaced and some other exterior improvements are being used with the $80,000 in grant funding. In addition to that, we actually went in as a city and replaced all these sidewalks that were in real rough shape in front of the theater that's taking place right now, and we're actually incorporating more green space. So that corner and that area downtown, I think, will look a lot better with these improvements, and I feel it's a great use of the $10 million grant funds we secured in 2016. Other news, we broke ground on the Wrights Landing Marina project earlier this month. We had Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul and our READY commissioners and some of the READY team come into Oswego, showed them the progress already taking place at the waterfront, and we had a groundbreaking ceremony and some words about what we think this project will do and what's going to happen. So that was an exciting day, a transformative day, and the project, if you have a moment, don't travel into the marina because it's totally under construction, but if you're around Breitbeck Park or Lake Street, you can see from a distance some of the work being done, and they're making good time there thanks to the weather. We've opened Lakeside Park officially, even though some people were using it anyway. It's now officially open and finished. The only remaining change is a referee chair at the volleyball court, but other than that, the park is finished, and I encourage people to take a look at the finished product and use it. We're very proud of it. And lastly, welcoming back the SUNY community to Oswego as classes resume at SUNY Oswego. I'm working with the Code Enforcement Department and the Police Department to make sure it's a safe return to Oswego. We put the Police Department on quality of life and neighborhood engagement patrols, and the purpose of the patrols was to, one, go around proactively to the SUNY, off-campus SUNY students, and we actually had this palm card door hanger developed to leave on doorknobs, but they were knocking on doors and engaging with the residents, and on the back it explains our rules for parties, late night disruptions, parking, and their premises, so like property maintenance, and explaining them the rules and guidelines here in the city so that they can follow them. And that was our warning, our proactive warning and proactive attempt to explain the rules. And then we've increased patrols to curb any late night partying, disruptions, or anything, because we know when classes resume and the students first come back is sometimes when it gets most crazy here. So we've increased patrols to stop those late night disruptions. And then also Labor Day weekend, we will be conducting our fourth annual code enforcement blitz, and that's where the police department and the code enforcement department team up to go through our neighborhoods, particularly the 1st, 3rd, and 5th wards, doing property maintenance, where they'll give landlords warnings first to clean up the properties within a couple of hours, and if they don't, they get fined and ticketed. And again, that's just a way to really set the tone as a lot of students move back and a lot of people move into rental units and landlords look to rent rental units. We like to set the tone and tell them that we mean business when it comes to property maintenance and code enforcement. So watch for the police department and code enforcement to be out this weekend, including evening hours and over the weekend, enforcing the property code, handing out warnings, again, educating people on our expectations and rules, but ultimately fining and ticketing landlords if they can't bring their property or tenants into compliance. So in closing, another busy month. We also have some upcoming announcements that we'll be making in the next month with more good news, more small to medium-sized projects, but overall a lot of good things happening. Happy to get the budget passed and look forward to continuing our momentum through fall and into 2021. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next month.